Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sunday Night Fire. I'm excited about tonight, excited about sharing a little something with you all that I'm hoping is going to be enlightening, and I'm hoping it's going to give you just a little bit of clarity and just a little bit of insight and wisdom. And so, thank you all that are joining. And if you would like to do so, why don't you share this and tag somebody and tell them to jump on. It's hot in here because it's Sunday Night Fire, and you can definitely encourage someone to jump in, even if you are watching this as a replay. My hope is that it gets you when it needs to, where it needs to, and how it needs to. I'm not going to be here long because I want to drop this, and hopefully, it will be a great kickstart to your week, but also just as a preparation notice. And hello, welcome. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for tagging and sharing and jumping in as I really share some things that I believe are going to be very necessary. And so thank you guys. I see you guys sharing and tagging and coming on. If you've not discovered already that this next move, this next year is, I believe, going to be a very unprecedented year in time. And I think I'm very sensitive, especially now in this season. And so I'm being very guarded about how many and how much and from whom I'm taking in input and insight because if we're not stabilized in certain areas, it's very easy to be shifted one way or another. And so I think for those trusted voices that we are attuned to and in tune with, I believe that the Lord is allowing there to be insight and prophetic perspective and prophetic perceptions so that we can be properly positioned and properly prepared. Hello, I see you guys on. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you all for sharing and tagging and getting your folks on. I believe tonight is going to be a night, and not going to be, like I said, too long, but I think it's going to be a night that's going to be very potent. And so get them on in while I'm here, while I can share this. If not, you can enjoy the replay. But I'm going to give you, I hope you guys have notebooks because I want to give you a prophetic prescription of preparation. Can I just call it that? That you guys will be receiving a prophetic prescription for preparation. And I think that for 2025, it's feeling a lot like the onset of 2020. And I remember the year of preparation. I remember when there came a time where we needed a plan. And I feel very strongly that some of us may be caught unaware as we come into this next year because we are not properly positioned or prepared. And I'm not just talking about this as like impending doom or all of this things like this. I just mean that for a lot of us, we already feel as though maybe we are behind the we're operating behind the clock, like we're running around and running out of time. Or some of us feel like we don't have enough resources or reinforcement. And I believe that the Lord is sending people, and He's sending things to help prepare us. But if we are not mindful, if we are delaying, if we are putting things off, I believe that we're going to miss what it is that we need. Hey, I see y'all. I see the Grow family in the house as well. Thank you guys that are joining and tagging and sharing. I appreciate you guys for being here. But this is what I'm calling a prophetic prescription for preparation. I want to say this about 2025, and I've been saying it some this year. I noticed if you have been following me for a while, I know a lot of people are like, where are you? Like, you're not online a lot. And I'm online because I'm not online because I'm too busy being in line. Somebody gonna catch that tomorrow. So I don't spend a lot of time online because I'm trying to be in alignment. And so I've not been online as much because I have been traveling. I have been teaching, training, preaching, mothering, nurturing, doing all of this stuff. And that is preparation oriented, I believe. I will say this, and I don't mean to, I usually give a prophetic word before the end of the year, and it's sounding like this is connected to it. So I hope you guys, good evening. So I hope you guys are catching this. At first, when I was going to go live, I was just going to pop on and talk about something. And then the Lord started really dealing with me about preparation. But He also asked me to be intentional about mentioning the danger of delay. Now, I talk about this a lot. I think I preached it in Washington, D.C. a couple of months ago when I was there with one of my very good friends. And I just want to say this, that there has been a grace. Thank you guys for coming on. Now I feel the weightiness now of this word. So thank you guys for joining and sharing this with somebody. There has been a grace prior to now um, for procrastination. There has been a grace prior to now for sometimes what I like to call our arrogant ignorance. Like, we know we don't know something, and yet we're just like, nah. I mean, I'll catch it. I'll catch it when it comes back around. There has been a grace so far for delayed obedience, which is actually still disobedience. There has been a grace so far for living in the valley of vacillation. There has been a grace up until this point for what I like to call the atmosphere of ambiguity. I'm just not really sure one way or another. There has been a grace so far for toxic tolerance. Man, y'all should be taking notes. I'm going to go back and script this out. There has been a grace so far up until now for pretending like we see things that don't see things that we really see. There has been a grace so far for excuses. There has been up till now a grace so far of mismanagement of our money. There has been a grace up until this point for the superhero syndrome. I sense that up until now, because God is such a just God, and before He judges, He allows things to weigh itself in the balance. I'm just coming for whatever I'm sensing. I'm just going to say your name. I've just sensed tonight that if you can receive this, and I'm just trying to release it in the way that it is being taught to me. One of the things that we have to realize, especially those of you all that may be prophetic people, that we have to release things in the same grace and spirit that we received it. Sometimes I come here and I be Tupac down because that's the spirit that it was given to me. Like, I ain't playing, give it this. By the way, if you did not catch my December word, the prophetic word for December, you need to go and watch that. God is about to vindicate you. But tonight ain't that kind of night. Tonight it feels preemptive. Tonight it feels like a plea. Tonight it feels like a petition. And so, good evening. I would just like to say that I believe that up until this point, thank you guys for joining and sharing, there's been a grace. I sense that up until this point that God has winked at us as we have made excuses, as we have had false starts, as we have talked big talk when things are good. And as soon as they start going left, we act like we forgot about what we said we were going to do. I think there has been a grace up until this point that is looking like tolerance. And I don't know that we have recognized that the winds have shifted. Somebody's going to hear me tonight. The winds have shifted. And I remember once when the Lord first started dealing with me about the winds, and I was talking about blowing, winds are blowing, that sometimes there comes winds that are helping us move quicker to where we're needing to get. So there would be winds of acceleration, and they would hurry up, and they would shift us, and they would accelerate our journey where it would have taken us a long amount of time. Winds will blow when we're in alignment, and they will push us closer to where we need to go. But there's another kind of wind, and this is a wind of turbulence. This is a wind of chaos, and sometimes this wind, depending on, oh, I hear you, Lord, depending on its assignment. I think maybe we don't really recognize that winds have assignments. Can y'all take this tonight? Winds have assignments. How do I know? Because the Bible talks about who is this man that even the sea and the winds obey. Somebody's going to take this and really understand what I'm trying to say, which means if they are obedient, then they have assignments. And so, and so the winds have assignments. And I believe that there are certain times, if we follow scripture, that there have been winds. I remember Jonah when he was trying to escape the will of God, and the Lord sent a wind, and that wind was not to kill nobody. That wind was to shift the boat and to get it into such turbulence that it would shake out the person that he was coming for. And there are times when the disciples were on the boat with Jesus, and the wind, and the Bible says that it was a storm of wind. If you go back and you read it and dig into it, it was not a storm that was meant to be detrimental, but it was a storm of wind, and it was supposed to shake them in their faith so that Jesus could challenge them and say, "Oh, ye of little faith, all this time I've been here, and you did not realize that I should have, something should have been birthed in you. You should have learned something. You should have had something a little bit more substantiated in you." So there are times when the wind, there are times in Ezekiel, I'm preaching now, there are times in Ezekiel where the Bible says that we love talking about the valley of the dry bones. But there were times when the dry bones were in the valley, and the Lord never told Ezekiel to prophesy to the bones. He didn't say prophesy to those bones and tell them to come alive. He said prophesy to the winds and tell the winds to re-enter these bodies, because winds have assignments. The Bible tells us in Psalm 103, I believe in 8, it says that God, he who walks on the wings of the wind, he'll walk on the wings of the wind, because winds have assignments. And so I want you to understand that we have to be very careful about winds and assignments. And so I want us to be careful. I want to make sure, let me find the scripture. I want to make sure that we hear this and not miss it. But we have to understand that if we miss it, if we get out of alignment, and if we step outside of where we're called to be, we can get caught up in the wrong wind. Can I just say it like this? You can get caught up in the wrong wind, and because you have gotten out of alignment, that very wind that would have pushed you closer to what you were called to, you got caught up. And since you got caught up and got turned around, the wind is still blowing, but now you're further and further away from what you were called to do and what God has predestined you to do, because you out of line. And so I think this plan of preservation, this pop-up that I thought I was just going to jump up here and give and do, was just so that you guys would understand that there is a wind with an assignment, and I want to make sure that we are leaning into it and that we don't delay. In 2025, the Lord gave me a prophetic unction about this, about it. I'm not really releasing it at this time, but I want you to understand that in 2025, you cannot afford to go at this alone. I want to say this, and I believe that it's in the house. There are some of you all that you get hyped up, and you first of all, it's not until the wind of chaos blows in your life that you start, all of a sudden you start running. You start trying to find people to gather with. You start trying to find somewhere to take cover. And as soon as things look like it's kind of going okay, then you want to try to, well, I'm good now, let me go ahead and try to do my own thing. And then you wonder why you're in this cycle. Somebody going to give me an ouch if you can't give me an amen. And you wonder why you're in this perpetual cycle and you don't really see the progress. It's because you haven't stayed anchored to your assignment. And what happens is because you're not anchored to the assignment, there's no consistency and there's no accountability. And you can jump on and off as you see fit. And so, there's in 2025, you're not going to be able to afford to be one hit and a wonder. In 2025, you're not going to be able to afford to be consistently connected with people who stay in this shallow water. And in 2025, you're going to see what my mom used to always refer to in the Bible as a very clear line of demarcation. You're going to be able to see and sense who really is stable and who really is there for the aesthetics. um don't go chasing waterfalls. I'm trying to help us. It's so much out there. I'm telling you, because the winds have shifted, and we've got to be very careful, and we've got to be very intentional, because one of the things the enemy always tries to do is he always tries to ostracize. He always tries to pull you away. He always tries to make you feel as though you're dealing with this by yourself. He tries to always make you do good, and then as soon, and that's why is it no wonder why every time you decide you're going to do it, you're going to be committed, the wind of chaos shows up and starts blowing stuff around. And you should know by now that this is the same thing that happens every time. Some of y'all, can I just go ahead and give you this holy rebuke right now? Some of you are already know. You know the month, you know the mindset, you know the momentum it takes to throw you off. And you sit right there and cycle after cycle every year around this same time, you go through the same motions. You get hyped up, you get started, you say this is what you're gonna do, and then bam, you flatline. And then by the time you've gotten yourself back up again, by the time you stop being shamed because you stayed away so long, and you start going through all the excuses, and then you wait and want somebody to run behind you and hype you up and encourage and push, and then you finally get back out there, you done wasted 6 months. There's a wind, and it's going to be about our ability to stay anchored emotionally, mentally, financially. It's going to be about us. This time you've got to be honest with yourself and say, can I really afford another year like this? Somebody gonna be honest in the comments. Can I really afford another year like this? Can I really afford another year where I'm up and down? Can I really afford another year where we talking about the same stuff and we ain't getting nothing done? Can I really afford another year where I get some good stuff, but then I run out and try to get it done, and then it flunk, and then I'm looking crazy, so I run back in again, and then I jump back out? Can I really maybe the reason why you have not seen consistent wins, consistent accomplishments, consistent progression is because you have not gotten anywhere and got stabilized and stayed. I said the other day that it's funny because we want the Lord to be faithful to his word, and when we ain't faithful to our assignments, when we ain't faithful to the things he's committed us to do, we want to stand on business, but we ain't standing on our faith the way God stands on his word. The Bible says that when he sends his word out, he watches over it. When he sends his word out, it can't return void. It has to accomplish what he sets it out to do. If he's a man, he's not a man, so he can't lie. And if he said it, he's gonna do it. If he spake it, if he spoke, that was King James. If he's spoken it, he's got to make it good. So when he stands on business, he stands on his word. But we are not faithful to assignments. How do I know? Every time we start something and we got these great plans and we know what we're going to do, and then the enemy pulls, he don't even pull a fast one, he pulls the same one. The same thing he did last year. The same thing he did 8 months ago. The same thing he did in the last season. And you mean to tell me you're still falling for it? Which means you don't have a preservation plan. What have you now decided to anchor yourself to that is different, that is going to keep you from going in the same cycle? Because in 2025, the grace is not there anymore. If you ain't ever heard me say this again, if you don't hear me say it again, you better hear me now. There was a grace in 2024 and past then. for inconsistency. There was a grace for vacillation. There was a grace for ignorance. There was a grace for fear. There was a grace for indecision. There was a grace for doubt. Was a grace for your slow poking. There was a grace for your in and out. There was a grace for your falling apart every time something was different. There was a grace for your temper tantrums. There was a grace for your selfishness. There was a grace for your stinginess. There was a grace for having a lack of faith. There was a grace for your toxic tolerance. You know that thing, those people, that situation, that circumstance was toxic, but you just still said, "Well, I'm just trying to see." There was a grace for this, and not this year. I had some shirts made once. My mentorship got it a couple of years ago. It said, "Not this year." And I'm telling you all that 20, thank you guys that are sharing and tagging somebody. Y'all better hear this word, because I feel like it is one of those, look, you ain't going to be able to lie and say I didn't say it and that I didn't do it. You can chase every single thing else. But I'm telling you that 2025 is going to be one of those dichotomy years where there's going to be two things being true at the same time. I said that about 2024 in a different way. I said at the end of 2023, I said, y'all, 2024, the Lord said it's going to be the year of demonstration. There are two things that's going to happen at once. I said, there's one side, people who believe the word of the Lord, there will be a performance of the things that he has spoken to him that believe. And I said, and on the other hand, the Lord has said, as he said in Isaiah, that he was going to, that for a long time, he's kept silent and he held himself back, but like a woman in travail, he was going to devour and destroy at the same time, and they both reign true. But I hear in this next year that he's giving us some of us, well, we got to tell the truth. And please, y'all, it ain't me you telling the truth or lying to, but I think you need to do some intentional inventory and ask yourself, if you were to grade yourself, don't grade the Lord because he's faithful. Don't grade the Lord because he consistent. A lot of times we'll go back and we'll do our 2020, 2024 recap, and we'll look at what we were able to do and what we didn't do, and and we really are grading how faithful we believe the Lord. Well, the Lord didn't allow me to get this and I wasn't able to get that. No, 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 no. Don't grade him because he's faithful. He knows the ending of a thing from the beginning. But what I want you to do as we come into this 2025 year is you go grade yourself. And I want to know, would you give yourself a L because you lost, or would you give yourself a W because you won? How faithful were you to the assignments that the Lord has given to you, gave you this past year? How consistent with the things that the Lord gave you? If you had to put yourself on a grading scale from 1 to 10, what would you rate you? Well, how would you rate your atmosphere of gratitude when it came to your good times and your bad times? How would you rate your level of obedience when it came to doing what he said do, and doing it in season and out of season? How would you rate your commitment level to the people that the Lord told you to connect to, or the assignments that the Lord gave you? How would you rate yourself when you were looking to see, I'm looking and I'm doing my 2024 recap? What I would like to know is how faithful and how consistent were you to the things that the Lord said. But then I want you to rate yourself. How well did you complain? How amazing did you show out when things didn't go your way? What level of inconsistency could you rate yourself as having? How many times did you start and stop? If you were to weigh the scales, how many times were you mad and scared and fearful and doubtful and anxious and schizophrenic? Then you were confident and full of faith and full of grace and full of power and walking in obedience and compliant. What them scales looking like? It's quiet. I'm preaching better than y'all posting. If we were to take inventory, because we're coming to the end of the year, and that's when everybody start doing recap, and just looking at all of the stuff that happened. Look at the stuff that didn't happen. What I would like to know is, before we rate him, how about we rate ourselves? How faithful were we? What was our heart posture? What didn't we do? What things did we keep our hands on that he told us to take our hands off? And what things didn't we put our hands on when, doggone well, he said, put your hands on them? because we want him to be faithful. I want us to tell the truth. Because when it's good, we good. But when it's not good, we gone. And I'm trying to figure out how we gonna stand on faith when God stands on his word and we can't even stand on our work. I'm asking a question, where's the fruit? Because it's time now. It's time because a workman is worthy of his hire. And so it's time now. It's the master coming back and saying, all right, I gave you some talents. There's some things I put in your hand and I went away for a long time and I just let you have it. And now I'm coming back to see what did you do? Because I'm telling y'all, I feel that the time of tolerance is gone. He ain't got time for your all these excuses. He ain't, because he watching you get up and do everything you want to do. You can't lunch that Bible study, but you booked the photo shoot. You can't pay tithes, but you show went and got them nails done. You can't be at church, but you sure enough went on vacation. I'm just, I'm telling you all, I'm weighing the scales here. And I'm trying to figure out how we think that God is going, not sitting here listening at these same excuses, not knowing that the muscles that he's trying to build in us, he's trying to build some stamina and he's trying to build a stance and he's trying to put us in a place to stand, but you weak-minded and you weak-muscled. I did not think I was thugging out tonight, but here it is. You weak-minded and you weak-muscled. Because every time it get hot, take me out the fire. Oh, I can't. Oh, the Lord know I can't handle this. I can't handle this. You jumping out the fire. So you weak muscle. That's why when the enemy throw anything on you, it be lightweight stuff. And you can't even handle that because you've not allowed him to cultivate nothing. Weak-minded. The enemy blow hard and you about to fall out. Somebody give you a disapproving look and you just about to spaz out. Just weak-muscled and weak-minded. I've been saying this for a while. That we love to talk about the Bible where it says, I just want to hear a well done, my good and faithful servant. But you can't get a well done if you're not well done. Some of y'all still bloody and raw on the inside. Talk about why he ain't released me into my next assignment because you ain't finished the first one. I don't understand why I'm not seeing the winds of wealth come over here because he don't see the weight of your work. You ain't well done. Unforgiveness still got you bloody. Two-facedness still got you bloody. Contempt, because you still angry about the gifts he gave you, because you wanted a gift he gave somebody else, still got you bloody. Ain't no well done if you still ain't well done. You still raw on the inside. But if you will get yourself somewhere where you can be properly governed, properly covered, properly cultivated, properly corrected, then maybe it'll work some of that stuff out. Because what you about to take over to 2025? Not that. Not that same schizophrenic spirit. Not that fabricated faith, because it ain't the real thing. Because it was faith. If it was faith, it would stay and it would stand. But got an excuse for everything. I don't know how we think that, well, I'm just waiting for what? Things to iron itself out? The Bible says that as long as the earth shall remain, summer, winter, fall, spring will not cease. Listen, as long as there is seed, after some time there will be a harvest. That means cycles of life going to keep coming. Why do you think Ecclesiastic said there's going to be a time for everything under the sun? It's going to be a time you're going to do this and a time you're going to do, and it's just going to keep, it's not going to cease. I'm just waiting for the right time. I'm just trying to see if we go. You trying to what? I'm telling you, 2025, there's not a tolerance for it. Y'all better hear me. Some of y'all just gonna have to be okay with people being offended. I'm here. I thought I had one word, and I guess I'm just leaning on it. Some of y'all gonna have to be okay with people being offended, because I want to ask you a question. Some of y'all that's out here people pleasing. Some of y'all that should have been cut some stuff off and should have been drew a line in the sand. And some of y'all that should have already shut that down, but you just keep going back and forth. I just real quick question. How's that working for you? Because they gave you idle threats and made you feel like that there were parameters around your participation and you in and out. How is that working for you? Because you decided you didn't want to put your hand to the plow and you gonna run around and you gonna get this done and do this and you here, there, and everywhere. How's that working for you? That you're people pleasing and you've been hit by the validation viper and people got, how is that? Because it's funny that the very people sometimes that we claim are keeping us in this and this and this, their life progressing. They doing every single thing that they want to do. And here you are, mad, angry, oppressed, confined, regressing. It's real quiet in the comment section. That's cool. Said this on my I did a live, I think a month ago somewhere. Holy Spirit showed up with a belt tonight. and I just said at some point, y'all, we gotta stop punking out for everything. We gotta stop letting folks put us in these situations, and we've got to stop putting ourselves in these situations. Like, who's really on the throne of your heart? Who really it? I've never seen before at such a exposed, blatant, audacious way the hearts of people, specifically concerning me. I can't speak for the rest of y'all. I've noticed that when I decided to not just take a stand, but to take a stance, everything starts showing up. People start try to pull me back to the level that they were familiar with. I noticed that people start being two-faced and talking over here and doing this. I would notice that that people would say things to other people about me and not know that God would put me in a position where He would vindicate me without me even trying to. I would just start noticing these different things all year, and it was just like, God, what is going on? What is happening here? It's just the blatant. And He said, no, you don't get it. It's been there the whole time. My tolerance has just left. And I'm allowing things to show up. And I'm allowing your passivity about things to die down because I want you to be aggravated. Because I want you to be ignited. I want holy indignation. As a matter of fact, watch me prove it. Let me take a quick poll. How many people, specifically over this year, maybe even in the last 6 months, you just start discovering stuff about folks? They've been acting a fool, turning on you. You just feeling like you're just like, what in the world happened? I thought we was cool. I thought everything was good. I didn't know folks felt like this way. I can't believe folks being so this and so petty and you just really it just looking like people. If that's y'all, can y'all throw a one in the comments? If like all of a sudden it just started feeling like people start tripping. Like you always knew they was like, but I'm talking about started tripping. And you were getting to the point where you were saying, uh-uh. It's been I'm telling you, I'm telling you because your God has gotten tired. And because He's tired, you're tired. And the reason why He is allowing these type of things to happen is because somebody about to make a move. Oh, we gonna hear this. 2025, a couple of things you cannot afford to do. You can't afford to do this by yourself. If you don't have, I ain't talking about this fake stuff. If you don't have a real community of people, that you can be vulnerable with, that you can be honest with, that is not intimidated or overwhelmed by who you are and what you do. Because if you've not noticed, the enemy has turned on the heat with these fake facades and with this undermining attitude and the arrogance and it is ugly out there. And the places where you would think that there would be safety, some of those places are not. You cannot afford to do this alone. You better be in a company of people that's going to push you, that's going to challenge you, that's going to support you, but make you account. This is not the time to get somewhere like a hermit and close in and close down and be like, that's why I don't fool with nobody. No man is an island. You better find somebody. One of the reasons why, and shameless plug, our Hideout mentorship is launching Tuesday night. Matter of fact, before I forget, let me throw this up here. Tuesday, we've opened up enrollment for the Hideout. So excited! Our season 7 is going to be about sales, 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 and sales. And baby, we going all the way in. I'm talking about we're going to be dealing with our biometric and makeup. We're going to be dealing with generational curses and the things that have come through our bloodline that are showing up in our cells, in our body. We're going to be talking about cells like jails and prison, the things that people have put us in, the things we've put ourselves in. We're going to be talking about cells, the cells like that are on a boat. And we're going to be talking about what we really need in our life to push us to the next level. What is stopping us from flowing and from being pushed out? What is it that keeps making us halt and hide and be hindered? We're going to be talking about we're going to be mastering the art of relationship capital. We're going to be talking about literally the thing that they kept us from doing before, which is partnering with people. Some of y'all, you good by yourself, but you don't know how to be a force when you together. You don't know what it is to partner. And I'm going to show you how am going to be raising up women who have been with me, and I'm gonna be just putting folks on the spot and say, hey, take the mic and come up here and show us all how to do this, because it's time for us to be able to stand out and shine and be able to say some things and practice some things. And I'm telling you, and then we're gonna do sales. We're gonna be having our own entrepreneur network where you're gonna be showcasing the things that you have, and we're gonna be your first audience, and you're gonna be able to put it in front of us and get live feedback. Hey, we didn't understand this. We're gonna be in a safe place where by the time we leave this, I'm talking about we going to be like warriors, and we're going to end it off by introducing a retreat that we're working on right now for next year, and we're going to be inviting everybody. I'm telling you, this thing, I'm excited. It kicks off this Tuesday, and so you need to make sure that you can get there, because again, having friends that are great. But sometimes part of what keeps us hindered is we are around the same people talking about the same stuff in the same city, in the same season, and we are not getting accurately a clear perspective about what else is there. How else can people, that timidity and that feeling like I've watched us sacrifice for everybody else. I watch us, I always say this, sometimes we will monetize moments and we lose momentum. We will put all of this money in a birthday party, put all of this money in a birthday shoot, or put all of this money in a dinner, and put all of this money in a celebration. And there's no continuity after that. There's nothing that sustains or substantiates us. And so at some point, we've got to say, I got to do this for me, because I cannot go in 2025 with this same level of inconsistency. I'm out here talking about, and I told y'all I'm from the South, so they love talking about what I'm fixing to do. I'm fixing to do this, and I'm fixing to start this, and I'm fixing to launch this, and I'm fixing. You ain't did jack squat. And I'm sick of hearing you talk about it or not. I've said this before. Season 7 is not for the faint. So I'm going to go ahead and say, if you scary, don't you join season 7. Don't. Now, believe me, we be in there, we laugh, we cry, we share. Listen, we've been going 7 seasons now. And it's everybody from ages 20 to 70s that's in there. So, baby, we got it going on. But I'm just telling y'all, don't be in there with you, because I'm going to just say, hush. I know I told him one year, I said, hush, y'all was lying about that last year. You ain't did it yet. I'm not listening to that. But having conversations with your girlfriend, that's cute. But that's not going to give you the accountability that you need. The Bible says that there's safety in counsel. Let me say these little four things so I can get out of here because I said I wasn't going to be before you long. It's Sunday night fire, and I hope I put fire in front of you. Um, there are four things, and I've given this plan of preservation before, but I feel like it is necessary for you all today. And let me just say this because you ain't going to give me no excuses. If well, I ain't got the money right now to be a part of nothing, cool. So we got this amazing community of advancement called the Grow Gathering, and we're getting ready to release this. That we're going to have a party, an end of the year holiday virtual gathering. We're going to be giving out prizes and money and services and stuff. So you definitely, when I post it, y'all need to be. It's completely free. But we have so many exciting things that are about to be launched for 2025. I'm talking about book clubs and men's Bible studies and entrepreneur classes and ministry classes and um, a dream academy for prophetic dreams. And I'm talking about we got some things that's coming and the most amazing speaking power event that's coming for 2025. Just a lot of stuff, but Bible study and discipleship class and pastoral check-ins and a team of leaders who can stop and counsel and pray anytime there's something. And I'm talking about I'm doing intercessory training and I'm so excited. And so you can join the Grow Gathering at any time and be a part of it. So all them excuses, nah, not for 2025 because we coming with the fire. But I want to give you this strategy before I go that I've given before, but I feel like it's a very simple four-step plan of preservation, right? That's going to help you all as you go into this next year. But I think you need to close the year off with it in your mind. So this is your preparation before going into 2025. Y'all ready for this? It's very simple. Number one, hide. Um, it might sound like a punk move, but hide in this context means to get to an undisclosed location. Get off the radar. Put that phone on do not disturb. Limit their access and your availability. Can I say that one more time for y'all in the back? Limit their access and your availability. Do you hear what I'm telling you? Number one, I hope you're taking notes, is hide. This is your preservation plan for the rest of 2024. You need to go somewhere where everybody can't monitor because there are monitoring spirits out there trying to see what you're doing. They're trying to see and seek. They're trying to see what you're doing and they're trying to seek out your next move so they can put a strategy in place to go and get in front of you. Hide. Sometimes hide means, that's right, like even in Psalm 91, we hide under the shadow of the wing of the Almighty. As a matter of fact, the Bible talks about how the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous, they can run into it and be safe. And so sometimes hiding means find yourself under cover and under a covering. Find you somewhere where you can go and somebody has some apostolic authority. Somebody has some prophetic prescriptions. You need to go in and find some place where you can say, look, they out there looking for me. I need to be somewhere guarded. And so you got to get to an undisclosed location. Can I help y'all with something? Sometimes the attack comes in the form of an attachment. I feel like running, but I must stay seated so that I can deliver the rest of this. I got a few more minutes. Sometimes I'm going to say it two more times so you can catch this, because the first strategy is to hide, get to an undisclosed location, because sometimes the attack comes in the form of an attachment. You wondering why you lingering with leeches. You wondering why you sizzled up with a snake. You wondering why you paired up with a parasite. I'm trying to give you a prophetic prescription for preservation. And sometimes the first thing you need to do is hide. Welcome, man of God. Get yourself to an undisclosed location. Get off the radar. Listen, I tell you all of the time, sometimes in the natural, your phone is draining its juice and draining its battery because underneath all of your apps, it's running your location. It's looking for you. It's trying to see what you're looking at, what sites you own. They're listening. I'm trying to see what you're talking about so I can be suggestive, and I'm trying to exert some type of influence on your next level. And so sometimes you're going to have to turn off your location. I don't need you to try to locate me in the spirit. I don't need you to try to locate me emotionally. How am I feeling? What am I doing? What's it looking like for the next? No, because sometimes the attack comes in the form of an attachment. And so you have to be very intentional about who in certain seasons try to attach themselves to you. There are certain seasons when, baby, I can get a little thuggish, ruggish. I can just say, no, I'm good. I'm good by myself for a moment. I'm good not having these conversations. Sometimes I have to be very discerning. There is a difference. I need to help somebody between benefiting and reaping. You benefit because you connected. You reap because you've sown. They won't cut off the connection because they don't want to lose their benefits. Somebody gonna hear me. Sometimes you need to go through your call log. Sometimes you might need to scroll through your messages. Sometimes you might need to just breeze and browse through your inbox and find out, if are they reaping or are they benefiting? Because you benefit just by being connected with me. You benefit from this just because you're in my proximity. You benefit just because we can name drop. There is a difference when you benefit. That simply means you're connected, but you only reap because you've sown. That means it's what I like to call the realm of reciprocity. That means I put in on something, and so I'm able to pull something out. That means because I put in time and attention, and when I need something, if I need to draw from you, I can draw strength from you. I can draw encouragement from you. Smokey said it best when they told his, you didn't put in on this man. And sometimes some of you all, and I feel it in the spirit, you're overwhelmed, and you're exerting extraordinarily because there is somebody who is supernaturally sucking. It's a python spirit. They've attached themselves to you, and they're trying to, I call it the siphoning spirit. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to siphon. They wait until you full. They wait until you're moving into a new grace. They wait until, because the whole while you were down and out, you can't find nobody. You couldn't pay nobody to partner with you. But as soon as you start shifting, as soon as you start cementing, as soon as you start making up your mind to move forward, all of a sudden you're like, what is happening? I'm feeling overwhelmed. What is happening? I'm feeling drained. Because that is a siphoning spirit, and they're trying, that attack is coming in the form of attachment. I'm telling you, number one, the strategy is to hide. Number two, the strategy is to hush. Oh, we don't like this kind of teaching. Number two, the second strategy, this plan of preservation, is you need to hush. Stop releasing the weapons that are being formed against you. Y'all might catch this tomorrow. I'm gonna blame it on this corduroy shirt because I'm casual today, and so I'm feeling a little loose in it. So here it is. You the one releasing the weapons that's being formed against you, and they wouldn't know if you didn't show. You're telling them your strategy. You're telling them your stress. Ooh, you're telling them your situations. You're telling them your strengths. You saying the right things. You're just saying it to the wrong people. Is anybody getting this tonight? Hush. You're releasing the weapons that are formed against you. You sitting there telling somebody, well, I'm going to tell you what I'm stressed about. I'm going to tell you what I'm worried about. And the enemy is saying, she's worried about money. He's worried about consistency. Okay, got it. Hush. Because if you can hush, you can hear. Maybe the reason why the Lord has not downloaded your 2025 strategy, maybe the reason why the Lord has not sent you to the right connections is because all you doing is complaining and whining and talking about it and saying all of this stuff, and hush so you can hear. Can we handle this apostolic authority tonight? You're releasing things before it's fully developed. And so it's just like with a baby. When people have babies, when you first birth a baby, that baby don't look like nobody. Y'all be talking about that baby so cute. No, that baby don't look like nobody. It just be looking shriveled like a little baby canary. We just ain't sure what's going to happen right now. And sometimes what we have to do is we have to wait for the baby to take on a likeness. And so this is what starts happening is we release things before it takes on our likeness. That's why somebody can come and steal your baby. That's why somebody can claim your strategy. That's why somebody can claim the thing that's your proprietary framework. Because what you've done is you've released it prematurely. And so now that you've put it out there, somebody else can get it before it carries your likeness. I hope we're hearing this. There's a saying, if you feed them long enough, they'll start to resemble you. Uh-oh. Some of y'all are allowing people to feed off of you. And so you wondering, oh, that sounds just like something I'll say. Oh, that's look just like something I'll do. Yeah, because you feeding it prematurely. And now it hasn't had time to take on your likeness. That's why I said the first strategy is hide. Get you somewhere in a community of people that can cover you, catapult you, correct you. And then hush. You saying the right things, you just saying it to the wrong people. Number 3, heal. Do you know that the definition of heal means to bring something to a resolve? That one of the definitions of heal is to bring a conclusion to? Some of the reason why you're still bleeding is because you have not brought it to a conclusion. Well, of course, if you connect it to a toxic temperament, then of course every day you crying and whining about something because you have not brought it to a conclusion. Well, of course, it feels like there are holes in your pockets and you can't keep anything financially because you have not brought it to a conclusion. Stop using me. Stop getting over on me. Stop trying to play me for a fool. I think sometimes we have the wrong definition of healing. I preached a message a couple of years ago called The Ugly Side of Healing. Healing has an ugly side. As a matter of fact, as it comes to research in the physiological makeup of our bodies, what happens sometimes when there's a sore is our bodies will create intentional bacteria around the spot that's damaged, and you'll start seeing it boil up, and you'll start seeing it looks real ugly, and you'll start saying, "Oh my God, I don't like the way this scar looks." Why is it? The body will inflame itself because it's trying to say, "I gotta." What has happened is you were hurt, and that area is going to do one or two things. It's going to be overexposed or it's going to be desensitized. So what we have to do is we have to keep the blood flowing. I feel Jesus. When we get hurt, when we get cut, when we get damaged, blood starts running out of us and our nerves start getting cut and we start getting desensitized. And that's how we start losing our mobility. And that's why we start losing our ability to be emotional and vulnerable. And so the Lord has to send the blood to wake us back up. He has to send the blood to trigger us. Sometimes you need to be around somebody that's going to push you and make you mad and make you angry enough not to sin, but to get back and be sent. Be sent into the place where you can heal so that you can go out there and walk in wholeness. Is this helping anybody? Right? I'm just trying to be obedient. I got one more because I'm just trying. So we have to heal. Some things we have to bring to a conclusion. Bring to a conclusion what's causing confusion. Y'all know in my former life, I was a rapper. So, so let me can we say it like that? Bring a conclusion to what's causing confusion. You should do this internal. So I said at the beginning, we do internal inventory. And then we need to do some external evaluations. We need to look around us and we need to say, what is bringing confusion? That's bringing confusion. They're bringing confusion. This is bringing confusion. And because God is not the author of confusion, I need to bring a conclusion to what's causing confusion. Well, I'm just confused about where I am with them. Then bring a conclusion to it till somebody can get clear. Well, I'm just confused about what I'm really supposed to be doing over here. Then how about bring that to a conclusion until you can I'm trying to rap, till you can get clear. Last but not least, I'm out of here, right? I got stuff to do. So I said the strategy. I've given you a prophetic prescription for preparation, right? This is my plan of preparation I'm giving us as we close out 2024. Now I have a word that the Lord gave me for coming into the new year. I'll put that out later. But before I give this last one, a couple of things. I'm telling y'all, we get ready to do a meet and greet inside of the Grow. And we have over 600 people there, but we need everybody active because it's so much that we're going to be launching and doing. And I want to put people on the platform to come inside of the Grow and help us. And it's just a place where everybody can bring their gifts. And I'm just one of those people that I open platforms up. And so if you've been in the Grow, you got to get in there, download the app on your phone so that you can get these notifications celebrations. We're doing a virtual holiday gathering, and plus we're giving away money and prizes and services. I'm giving away some one-on-ones with me, and they ain't cheap. Anyway, so we're excited about this. But next year we'll be launching men's ministry for Bible study. So we have some amazing leaders inside the Grow. I need them coming to this stuff so they can help us teach. We're launching the 60 and older. They're the diamonds. They're doing a Bible study. But listen, not just spiritual stuff. We got a health club in there. We have wealth strategies. We're going to be doing some entrepreneurial events in there. I'm just excited about the level of things that are getting ready to happen. So if you don't join the Grow, I don't know what's wrong with you because it's free. However, if you are a woman or if you know women that need a safe place to share and be seen and a hidden place to heal and be heard, you need to join the Hideout because we're in season 7. And I told you this season ain't for the weak. So don't come in there if you know, got tendencies to fall out and cry because, baby, we not playing games. But you can go to jointhehideout.com and join us. All right. So I'm closing this out. We got hide, we got hush, we got heal, and last but not least, hear. Here, right? Here. I think we have to figure out how to stop looking for a clue instead of hearing what to do. There I go rapping again. Stop looking for a clue instead of hearing what to do. You looking. That's why the Bible tells us that you can't be afraid of men in their faces, because if you look for clues, sometimes people, because they are intimidated or because they really don't want you to know the type of effect and the type of power and authority you have, they'll intentionally try to disbar you. They'll try to discombobulate you because you're looking at them and it looks like they're not receptive. It looks like that. Stop looking for a clue instead of hearing what to do. One of the things that I've learned apostolically and prophetically is I can't go by what I'm seeing. I have to go by what I'm hearing. Because it's so funny because a lot of you all may know about, I've been doing these one-on-one assignment alignments I open my calendar up for November, December, right? And so there are people that have booked these sessions and I've never had a session with them before in my life. Or they come on the session and they just look at me and I say, all right, well, what we doing? And they're just like, I just need to hear from the Lord. I can't go about by what I am seeing. What I start doing is I just start listening. And I just go, okay, so here's what the Lord is saying. This, and this. And now here is the strategy. Done. You can't base your next move off of their current mood. Woo, somebody need to be writing this down. Can I say this? You can't base your next move off of their current move because people will try to throw you off, right? So well, if they move like that, then I'm gonna do this, and then if they don't, and if they do this, see what I'm gonna do is that you cannot base your next move off of their current move, because what if they're vacillating? If they live in the valley of vacillation, if they operate in the atmosphere of ambiguity, you're just gonna be in the spirit of stagnation. You better hear God. And then you better connect to the people that he has given you that has wise counsel. I hope this helped. I'm out, but I just wanted to make sure that we understand. And let me just say this to reiterate, and you write this down if you want to, right? But you just got to make sure that you break. I've taught this in the Hideout plenty of times. Y'all know my background is in psychology and in philosophy, and so I always like to talk about the mental intentionality that goes by things. But understand that you've got to break the negative feedback cycle, right? This is what we call it in psychology, this negative feedback cycle. So what happens is it does not matter about intentionality, what I'm fixing to do. What happens is that you are triggered. Something emotional happens or something environmental happens and it's triggered. Somebody stops talking to you or they don't do this or something ends, whether it's a job or something begins or some type of environmental trigger. It happens. And then immediately you respond in your mind. And you say, uh-oh, see, I knew they was going to do that. Uh-oh, you know what? See, now I can't do this. And all of a sudden your mind starts saying, yep, there it is. And then after the mental reactivity, there's a physical reactivity. So now you say, well, I'm just going to shut it down. And so then it bursts what I call a cycle of stagnation. You have an assignment, then there's an attack, Now, all of a sudden, your atmosphere is antagonistic. Now you apprehensive, and then you abandon. Can I say this again? I'm giving you, when you know the truth, it makes you free. So here I am. I'm giving y'all this for free. I'm going to give you the cycle of stagnation so you can break it. You can interrupt it. I always say cycles aren't broken. They're interrupted, because as long as the earth remains, there's seed time and harvest. There's a cycle, but you can interrupt it and create a new one. So you have an assignment, and all of a sudden there's an attack. When you're attacked, now your atmosphere is antagonizing, and you're just thinking about, oh my goodness, this happening, this happening. I don't know what I'm going to do, and how are we going to do? And then now you're apprehensive. That same assignment that you were just saying, I'm going to go do it, and I'm moving forward no matter what. Now I'm not sure. And the longer you stay there, there's now abandonment, and you just say, I can't, I won't. I just punched you in the gut. I'm sorry. I got to talk about it. Can I tell you that it's the same cycle that I've taught about, and I call this cycle the cycle, because some of y'all, maybe that didn't hit. I got to get out of here, y'all. Y'all know I don't like staying on but an hour. Some of you all have the cycle of obligation. There's a need. You have the solution, so you supply it. Then once you supply the need, now somebody has the atmosphere of entitlement, like you're supposed to do something for them. Then you push back, and you're like, no, I'm not going to do that. Now they're feeling now you feel obligated, because that atmosphere of obligation has came. Now you feel guilty, but also resentful. Now you try to be the solution. Now you are resentful, and now you resigning. And you're saying, oh my goodness, you know what? I'm never going to get out of it. Either way, the way we deal with these cycles, I just gave it to you. We hide, we hush, we heal, and we hear. I hope this helped. If you didn't catch it all, you may watch this replay. I'm on toes tonight. I see y'all. You can watch this as a replay. But again, I know I'm not on social media that much anymore, because I'm trying to do what my hands have been put to. And plus, I'm preparing. 2025 about to be doing what it's going to do. And for as much as you're hearing about the attack of the enemy, for as much as you're hearing about all of these things, there still is a plan of preservation, and there is still a remnant of people that God is going to give resources to, and he's going to give resolve to, and he's going to give a reservoir to. Amen, lights? All right. Well, hopefully Tuesday, I'll see some of you guys in the hideout. If you want to help me share this word, there's a flyer on my page. Definitely please share that and get some women and say, look, there's one place you need to be, and that's in the hideout. If you're not in the hideout, you can join us in the grow, because we're growing and glowing over there. I'm just believing God for like the next level of stuff. And I ain't trying to have you, out here wasting time and wasting resources. And so you guys know how to get at me. You guys know where to find me. If I'm not so much on social media, you have to tag me and send me an inbox, because my tolerance level, I told you, it's shifted. Remember what I said at the beginning about that grace that's leaving. The Bible says that we'll go from grace to grace, from glory to glory. Make sure you ain't caught into that too. I was trying to leave y'all on a high note, but make sure you ain't caught into that too. Because when you go from a place, there's that to area where there's transition. And if you're in that transition, you're not where you used to be, but you're not quite where you need to be, you better find a place to hide and heal. Okay? All right. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for the support and love. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I'll see some of you guys real soon. May the Lord bless and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he turn his countenance towards you. And last of all, may he give you peace. And peace. I'll see y'all next time.